Ildefonso, tumingin sa tabi! Patay!
There's a steal! Danny Ildefonso scores!
Danny I for the win!
Yes,
Oh, yes!
sir!
Danny I
Yes,
for the win!
Oh, nag-subscribe na ba kayo sa YouTube channel ko? Official Danny Ildefonso, IG, Official Danny I, sa Facebook, Lakay Danny Ildefonso. Ano pa inantay nyo? Pinapa yung oran nyo. Let's get it on!
Okay, there's the signal already, and we should start the game and put the ball in the air. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Anything else we should look at, Dr. J, that you find particularly interesting in this series?
Well, what I noticed is in this series also, a team has to show that on the very first quarter that they are ready, full of hustle, ready to come up with a good game. I think for San Miguel to really put some pressure on Ginebra, they got to start very well in the first quarter. You know, try to get a lead on the Ginebra team, make them feel that we're not going to give this game to you on a silver platter. We're going to do everything to take it away and extend this series to a Game 7.
I really felt in game number 5, in terms of the intensity, they were not matching up compared to Ginebra, except in that third quarter when they roared back from 18 points down. They came within 1, but were unable to pull across, even tie the ball game. They couldn't do it.
You know, partner, when you dig yourself into such a big hole, no matter how talented your team is, you know you're going to feel a lot of pressure to be able to finish off a game as well as you do. Now, the other team is no patsy. The only reason they're in the championship is because they're as good as you are.
Oh, yes.
You gotta give it maybe 55-45 or 50-50. So you cannot let the other team really get an advantage like 18 points against you and hope that you can make a comeback in 24 minutes and beat them down the floor. No?
Something's got to give, as they say. In the meantime, game number 6, all set to unfold here, and this Coliseum is beginning to rock already. Boy, are they going to drink that big Ginebra San Miguel bottle at the end of this ball game? He's walking across the court. He could be gone if Ginebra decides to take this tonight.
If you drink that much, you may not wake up tomorrow morning, and you wouldn't like that either. So if you win and you do go celebrate, be moderate and temperate.
Of course. Or else, Jonisha Pacquiao will look at you and say...
Hindi, tsaka pag wala ka talagang pulutan, medyo mas madaling malasing doon.
Oo naman.
San Miguel takes first possession on the tip-off.
Mick Pinisi, of course, had his trouble with the officials and had a technical and had that flagrant foul. I'm sure he's up to making up for that. He was really missed in that game number 5. We're underway with the first offensive, and it's an offensive foul called against Jonas Villanueva.
Although an offensive foul was called against Jonas Villanueva, you can see a lot of movement in the offensive game of San Miguel, plus the very fact that they seem to be very aggressive on their offensive end.
Which was the point you were raising exactly, because they have to step on the gas pedal early on and not just allow the game to come to them. Here's Noah, who has been impressive. That game 5 made up for those free throw misses in the previous game. That shot does not work, however.
So that was way off the mark there and cleared down off the boards there by Gabe Freeman.
Freeman will have to be conscious of his fouls. When he's on the floor and he's effective, useful. But on the bench, well, he's not doing anything. He gets something going. But wait, I don't think they'll count it.
And that's a second offensive foul called at San Miguel. This one against Gabe Friedman. He had a big 6'9" player defending against him who defends well against the post. Freeman could have taken face up and then tried to beat him to the basket.
Referee Aldaba getting that second technical. He's spread the second offensive foul, and Chota keeps on telling him nakadalawa na siya. At that point, meanwhile, Noah knocks it in from long distance. And don't forget that Gatorade is our official sports drink in the PBA. Is it in here? Here's Antiveros. That should be a foul on Tubed. Tubed was also ejected in game 5.
Yeah, because he stuck out his foot, you know, in a collision with Ontiveros, which I'm sure he was very, very sorry about earlier with that flagrant foul called against him. Both he and Pinisi probably will get some fines, but the important thing is they're here for game number 6.
That can be discussed later on with our commissioner taking care
Alam
of
mo
that.
naman mabait si paring Sano. You know, he will not take anything away from the public. And there was no really, you know, flagrant foul in the sense that you want to hurt anybody.
Here's Freeman. His shot circles in and circles out.
That could be an ominous sign, because if it went in, you know, that was a 17-footer, and that would have extended the defense to come out to him. No?
Astubid tries to dribble against Ontiveros. Here's Ontiveros. You talked to him briefly earlier when we were all going in, and he seemed ready for this one. He fires from long distance, can't knock it in. He probably saw the shot clock coming down to about 3 or 4 seconds.
That's right. There was no play developing. Good defense there by David Noel.
Is he going to go for a slamma-jamma? No way. There are 2 roadblocks. Picks up his own miss. And this crowd enjoying the effort of David Noel.
Now, this is early, but he is giving them the adrenaline that they need. You got to see that from your best player. Last game, he had 29 points, led his team to victory in game number 5. When you see that from your best player on the floor, hustling, defending, stealing, getting the offensive rebound, then the local players just got to follow you, whether they like it or not.
I agree. And you know, it was quoted in the papers that this gentleman had a call from the New York Knicks camp, first with Mike D'Antoni, and with the changes he's making there with the kind of offense he likes to run. But he said he'll finish off his commitment to Barangay Ginebra.
I also know personally that there are some scouts who want to get him for the Japanese League, which will start in September, you know, but they'll be called in about the month of August. There, some of them are looking at the possibility of maybe getting David Noel there.
In the meantime, so those who really don't make it to the NBA, they have opportunities to play abroad.
Yeah, and you know, you make pretty good money also. You got to make whatever your career has given you.
Oh, yes. And the shot clock is down to 3. Execution, a problem for San Miguel in Game 5. Somehow Game 5 has not ended, at least up to this point. Here's Noel backing up. All the way, in and out.
Almost like the same shot that Freeman missed on the other end earlier.
Pingris attacks.
Good basket and 1 coming up here for Mark Pingris. Now, Rafi Ribis is a very underrated defender, but he does a very good job, whether against small men or big men. Remember when he played for Chot Reyes and he was helping, he helped him to a championship? You know, Chot, I know, really is in love with a guy like Rafi Ribis, a role player, rebounds well, can defend well. He doesn't really care about scoring, but he'll throw in his licks from time to time.
Which is the mark of the game of Rafi Ribas. A lot of people say he's not involved in the offense, but he drinks his Fern C as well. The official vitamins of the PBA, proud sponsor of the final series of the 2009 Motorlight PBA Fiesta Conference. This crowd bristling with excitement as San Miguel retains possession. London. He's being followed every step. They're fighting the screens, going over the top. Freeman hangs in the air and is fouled on the way to the basket.
That's his first foul.
And Wilson has got a lot of PT or playing time here in this series. Called for his first.
Well, you know,
Why coach Shelton Gibson for continuous complaint?
because what's happening there with a guy like Ribis and you have Wilson, they're both role players, good defenders, they're both good rebounders. And you have the scorers anyway. You got Helterbrand who can score, Tubid who can score, David Noel who can score. So from the very start, you establish a team that really wants to defend and back out people.
Yes.
And hustle. So those are the important things that a team needs. Helterbrand seems to be, of course, about 70%. And that's the reason why Chico Lanete is in the ball game right now.
Despite the fact that he did not play at that level you were talking about, still managed to contribute immensely in Game 5. That hook will work. This is the stepping out phase for Willie Wilson here in the PBA. Inisi long. That is batted away by Fingers. Could be called as an offense. Loose ball foul, yes.
An over-the-back foul called against it. If there is no foul called, obviously that ball would have been tapped out by Pingris and that ball would have gone to Ginebra because Ribis established his defensive his rebounding position.
We're down to 8:24 and our score is moving along slowly. 6-4 is the count. Ginebra with the slight lead. Enjoying the lead in the series, 3 games to 2. Nobody has won back-to-back. Noel knocks it in. It's a 3, and he has 7 of the 9 points of the barangay. Ceasefire taken. Junjun Inares of Rizal, of course, a doctor by profession, who is also, like my friend, a doctor as well. And a couple of our friends, the ambassador of the United States, Mr. Kenny, is there.
That's
also.
right, of course. Siguraduhin mo muna, baka akala nila talagang doktor ako, humingi ng prescription o gamot sa akin. Basketball lang tayo, partner. Baka bilyar, pwede, konting golf, pwede, pero...
Baka bilyar, tanongin ka rin, ha?
Oh, great interception.
Oh, yes. Freeman, his dribble and interrupted by Leniete's ball hawking, but it goes astray, and a foul as well is called.
I think
very fiery guard. Go ahead, Dr.
I'm sorry, I said. I think that was a good foul. There was an opportunity for San Miguel to get on the break with Noah still in the backcourt. And a good foul because you're not in the penalty. And, you know, you can afford to give up that kind of foul. Now, low pressure here against Villanueva.
This has been the trademark of Ginebra in the series, and more specifically in games 5 and 6, where they kicked up their defensive intensity several notches. They go to Freeman. Freeman against Noah. Eyeball to eyeball. He goes through at the slightest of openings.
When he can go to the right and he can get that extra step, you know he's going to leap. And that he'll either give you a hook or a lay-in. And that's a very high percentage shot there for Gabe Freeman.
Already 4 of the 6 points of San Miguel, courtesy of Freeman, but who will join us?
Thank you, sir. Earlier on, we caught up with the head coach, Jongo Chica of the Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings, and he told us the basic package of what they want to do here in Game 6 is to take away as many mismatches as they can. They just need to find ways to minimize the firepower of the San Miguel Beermen. It's just like picking their own poison. He says it's just a waiting game with Ginebra and San Miguel. They just they stop one thing with San Miguel, they do another, and then it's up to Ginebra to adjust. Seb?
It's been a series of adjustments, Magoo, and of course the view adjusts quicker. Seems to have the advantage as Freeman, as you pointed out, Dr. J, quite a leaper. Pinisi says, this is my spot.
That's the mistake of referee base. He suck in too deep. You know, we always like people that go in and seal deep because it really sucks the defense. And Mick Pinisi coming in as a trailer had an open three-point shot.
First set of points by Pinisi, and Sunday Salvacion unable to get it to go on the other end. Lead pass to Freeman. Oh, just the defense just quicker. 6:23 to go. We're tied at 9. This is just our second deadlock. Oh, look at that floater. Just didn't work for our Tubit.
Tubit had 2 open shots, very, very close, something that he usually makes. And so far, he has not been successful with those jump shots of his.
Maybe his heart is pounding too fast for his own good, huh?
Pwede yan. Oh, talagang ganyan yan eh.
Ontiveros pops. That will not drop in, and the rebound is plucked by Noel uncontested. And we will glide gently into a ceasefire. It's going to be a full timeout. This time requested by Barangay Ginebra. Knotted at 9. 5:51 to play. Game 6 just beginning to percolate. Big Dome teaming with fans and joining all of you, and we hope you took your Fern Seed today, the official vitamins of the PBA, proud sponsor of the final series of the 2009 Medalite PBA Fiesta Conference. Chef Sarmenta here with the Doctor, Cheska Linton and Magoo Marchon completing our quartet. Ball game tied at 9, 5:40 to go. Artadi sees action for the first time after 2 games sitting down. He was sick in game number 4. That will not work, however. Here's Salvacion against Freeman, and they decide not to force it.
Well, those offensive rebounds are hurting San Miguel because it gives another opportunity for Ginebra to set up a nice offensive play for themselves, you know.
As Artadi attacks, scoops it inside. Rivas with nowhere to go, and that ball will go where?
It will stay with Ginebra, but they only have 6 seconds left on their shot clock, which is really plenty of time to set up a play here.
And by the way, the fountain of youth known as Olsen Rosella is on the floor already. He's now comfortable with that role of coming off the bench. And just pops and gets his offense. But his offense has gone on a vacation here so far. Only a couple of points in 3 games. 2 points, in fact. Pinisi trying to provide a shield for Hontiveros' launch. First 3 points.
And all of a sudden, with a big run here, San Miguel has taken the lead. It's an 8-0 run. They were trailing by 5 points, and now they're on top by 3.
This was the point you had mentioned at the top of the telecast, Dr. J, that they must immediately set the tempo that they want. As Rosella's dribble is being broken up, attempted at that though, Mayartadi and a foul has been whistled.
Well, you know, what is the strong point of the Ginebra team besides their import? Their guards. If their guards are not scoring, Tubit's been missing, Helterbrand has been missing, they really don't have a lot of points coming from anywhere else. You know, their big men will give them some in the persons of Eric Menk, but who else will give them points?
It's a small forward.
It's their point guard, their two guards that really, and their small forwards that give them some points.
In the meantime, that is missed, and Noel says, I'm sorry for sitting down on you, Sunday Salvation, but we'll move ahead. Here's Helterbrand. 12 on the shot clock. Time coming down to 4 minutes and 8. This is a twisteroo that does not work.
Well, that's not his game, really. Sunday Salvation is not a penetrator. He's more of a spot-up shooter.
Give it to him in the
and he has a problem here now.
Yes, in a mismatch. That does not work with fingers, though.
That is because Rafi Rivas came into the picture to help him out.
Good point. In the meantime, Rosella steps into the pass and looks and scans the horizon. Artadi trying to break up his dribble. Fingers lands, and oh, there is a foul.
A great hustle there on the part of Helterbrand, but also great hustle on the part of Fingers, who wanted to keep that ball alive. Eric Menk coming into the picture now, coming for Rafi Rivas, so there might be a little bit more scoring for the big men for Ginebra.
Let's go back to that point about Fingers and Helterbrand. I guess some of the following that these teams have acquired in this generation of PBA players is typified by the energy of these two gentlemen you just mentioned.
But Fingers is the new great. Eric is just a good old faithful, but a very, very nice player to always have on your team.
Of course. And Helterbrand, of course, typifies the Ginebra gung-ho spirit that people have been accustomed to. In the meantime, gung-ho with some planning and some execution, not bara-bara. In the meantime, Jay Washington makes his first appearance here today.
So far, we have not seen Baguio come into the ball game as Willie Wilson comes back into the game.
This is a happy family because they've got that certificate, which means they'll go home with some Mr. Donut donuts. And that is the Alip family. They'll never forget this day. At mag-uwi sila na saya, masarap only from Mr. Donut. Here's Jay Wash and renewing ties with Willie Wilson. That short stop works.
Nice footing there on the part of Jay Wash. And so Ginebra has been nailed to 9 points. Noel has not been able to get off any attempt. And like I said, the guards of Ginebra just has not been able to score.
Good point. And we were in fact tied at 9 when you earmarked that particular number. In the meantime, Artadi looking inside. Here's Menk. Pinisi telling Menk, I'm here. And foul. Every foul that has been whistle has just bothered San Miguel.
Well, they're fighting for their lives. You cannot blame them.
Yes.
You know, there's that extra feeling that, hey, we need some breaks here because we're fighting for our lives. Baguio has finally come into the ball game. They definitely need another scorer. And if they can't get any scoring for him, they got to go to take a look at that. Kings have been scoreless in the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds. You're correct. They got to go to JC Intal for me.
Yes, maybe that's could be an option in the meantime, and that shot works. Helterbrand trying to get that scoring from the guard line. First pair of points, 2.5 to go, and that is taken away. And that dribble is interrupted, but not without the foul. And I almost did not recognize Baguio today without the headgear.
A good foul there by Olsen Rosella. As we see Mike Cortez come in for Don Ontiveros. He'll play the 2 guard here. That will now be the 15th foul of the San Miguel team. Both teams will now be in the penalty going to the last 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Chesteriton has a report for us.
Despite everyone knowing what's at stake, despite the pressure on their team to win this game, Jay Wash actually feels lighter and looser. As a team, they know what they've accomplished, and they just have to try and get back to where they were a month and a half ago, playing as a unit and everybody contributing. So if they focus on what got them there, then there will not be a problem getting these next 2 wins. Andy and Seb.
Thank you very much, Jessica. In the meantime, here's Jay Wash dribbling against Wilson. Tries to bring it in closer. Rosella launches with the shot clock coming down to 3. That's why it looked like a bit of a hurried attempt.
What was funny on the last play was Gabe Freeman did not know his own shot where his team was. Look at this. He follows up this shot of Ginebra and he makes it for Ginebra, so it's going to count. Now, the guy that will benefit from that is the guy closest to him. I think it was Willie Wilson. He'll get the 2 points.
Yes, he did.
And another foul here on Cortez. And they are in the penalty, so it will mean free throw shots.
Now on the Cortez penalty. That was the
It's
first
one of those
foul.
things that you just don't want to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to add points coming from
Yes.
your team and giving it to the other.
And it's not even Christmas yet. Let me
It
tell
can
you.
be Christmas in July.
Okay.
Kasi may shopping doon eh. di ba? Nanood ka ba ng CIS? Ako, parati ako nandiyan, kaya alam ko yan, partner.
Commissioner Barrios likes it when you and I are chuckling, but he has no idea he chuckles better than the both of us combined. It's Barrio.
He talks better than me, I'll tell you that.
And I guess that's why the Lord put us all together. In the meantime, Jay Wash, he has decided to court the inside, Dr. J, rather than attempt it from the outside. Has been successful on 1 of 4 attempts. In the meantime, Helter Brown. There are very few players that can get the crowd bristling with excitement the minute they touch the ball.
Yeah, and obviously JJ is one of that. There's going to be a loose ball foul here. It might be on Eric Met. And they're also in the penalty.
I'm sorry, Dr. J. What I wanted to say was the two men who are in the brain trust of Ginebra San Miguel, Samboy Lim and Alan Kaitik, of course, were 2 players who typified that excitement.
Oh, syempre.
Hawak pa lang yung bola eh.
As a matter of fact, Alan Kaidik is entering the Hall of Fame this year.
You were chairman of that committee nga pala.
Hindi naman yung selection lang na tayo. Hindi naman tayo sa
And I noticed Samboy Lim was brushing his hair as usual. You know, remember when he would used to do that before free throws?
Swerte nga siya, may buhok pa siya eh. Ibig sabihin na, maski na tumatanda ka,
Yes.
he retains that nice mop hair of his, you know.
And he enjoys perhaps dates at KFC where, you know, you can get the KFC delivery assist of the quarter. Magpa-deliver sa KFC, just 9887-8888 KFC. It's finger-licking good. And I get it from the former players from the 80s and 90s. He does still play nowadays.
Yeah, because he's in good shape. Look at him. Yeah, look at Alan. They can play.
Sabi nga ni Ronnie Magsanok, ayun, lumilipad pa rin. Pakana, by the way, is in the ballgame for the first time at the 1-minute mark of this opening quarter. Here's Meng. And Peña says, foul. Well,
And it's going to be free throw shots coming up for
Yes.
Eric Meng. This guy did not become MVP of the league for nothing. I mean, he's just a brainy player. Sometimes he'll push you up. But Peña, you cannot push him, posting him up, especially with your backer. So what does he do? He faces up. He fronts him. He faces up and tries to beat him from the outside. Then forces those fouls. Knowing the other team is in penalty, goes to the free throw line. Tamang buhok ni Samboy. Same as he was.
and as mild-mannered as ever.
Saka mabait yan si Samboy. We competed against each other, you know, with different teams. But I could never say anything about Samboy.
Ang lipad niya, no? Pag lumipad talaga. And I thought man could not fly.
Well, God does give some things to other people they don't give to others. No?
Talagay ko, baliksad yung payong yan nang namigay ng ability to defy gravity ang Diyos. Samantala, Washington collects something downstairs. Could be a Rivas foul.
Well, you can see a lot of baseline exchanges for Washington. Para mangyari sa kanya, may konting movement before they throw the ball to him at the post. If you throw the ball to him immediately, you attract the double team and he never knows what they're doing. You make a baseline exchange, you make a screen for him, then he gets the pass. He is really one-on-one with the guy defending. And usually, nasa likod yung tao. In this case, nag-foul si Rivas.
And Rivas ended up with his second personal foul. Washington missing the first gift shot this ball game at 17-16 with 48.2 seconds remaining.
Well, full tank tayo dito. Medyo talagang puno ang tao rito. Siguro, mag-iba, nag-iisip. Baka may Game 7 ito. Sa Friday na lang tayo. Although, sweldo ngayong araw. Pero sa Ginebra, Gusto namin tapusin na ito ngayon.
Oh, sabi nga ni Chico Lanyete, ayaw na namin practice sa Thursday. That's a different way of putting some kind of motivation or incentive. 12 seconds on the offensive set. Here's Meng digging in deep. Goes lefty. Will not work. Here comes Cortez. Rushes, loses control. And where will the ball go?
It will go to Ginebra. They'll have the last shot because there's exactly 24 seconds left on the shot clock. Mike going to his left. That's his favorite spot. He lost possession. Probably felt he was bumped a little bit. Danny Alfonso coming into the ball game. Ginebra calling one last play. And San Miguel has no fouls to give.
Ildefonso, by the way, was beginning to perk up his own game, racing the roof on several occasions.
He's a two-time MVP naman, partner.
One of those players that really excites the crowd. In the meantime, the kick out, Pacana hesitates, goes for a better angle, launches, banks it. We're done with this opening quarter. So, any telltale signs, Dr. J?
Well, I think both teams are very much concentrated on this game. They're very focused. We're going to have a good game here.
As we check out the Motor Light leading scorers parade, our opening quarter is at 19-17, Barangay Ginebra with the lead. And back with us here, 19-17 is our current count as we swing wide open the doors of quarter number 2. Closely fought first quarter, and both teams trying to establish their defensive motif. As this is the crowd joining you wherever you may be. Magandang araw po gabi po sa inyong lahat, Bayong Pilipinas, and wherever else you're watching our presentation of CSN. Good close range pass.
You know, Baguio did not score a single point the last time out, but they were still able to pick up a win. Ginebra San Miguel is going into a zone right now. Just marking the shooters, especially guys like Cortez and Rosella.
Here's Danny. Cortez zips it over to Danny. Ildefonso takes care of his first pair of points.
When you go into a zone, you are liable to offensive rebound on the weak side. That's exactly what happened for them, and they were able to get off a nice shot there for Danny Ildefonso. Oh, nice pass.
Bubutas at bubutas no?
Well, kasi madaling rebound sa weak side. That's where the ball usually falls to. Unless it's a three-point shot, then malayo ang talbog mo. Baguio. Oh!
Almost had it.
Pareho sila ni Tubit. They cannot make a shot off the glass.
Nagigil kaya ng konti.
Well, Cyrus, I think, obviously wants to make up, for his last game.
J-Wash, that's in a long distance shot, and this is the side San Miguel likes to see, already with 8 points.
Yeah, he's very aggressive today. Obviously, that's a good sign for San Miguel.
Pacana wiggles and gets a foul off his drive to the basket.
Now, that's not really a good shot selection, especially for a point guard with a team that has a lot of offensive players. He's lucky he was fouled in that play.
Magumar John has something to say about what's happening here today.
Seva, talking about J-Wash, who's already got 8 points. This guy averaged 18 points in the first 2 games in the series and had 18 points in the first half of game number 3. That was when Willie Wilson was sent in for the first time in the series, and a lot of people have credited Wilson for keeping tabs on Jay Washington. But Wilson says it's not just him. It is the total game plan of Coach Jong Chico. Intal, now Rivas, and even Salvacion has had their turns in guarding him. So it is really a team effort. They say J-Wash is not San Miguel. Everybody's a threat on the floor. Well, J-Wash now has got 8 points. They got to keep an eye on this guy once again. Sev?
Thank you very much, Magumar John. And Ginebra finds itself slightly ahead, 23-22. In fact, the biggest lead that has been established, just 5 points by either team.
And that ball's going to Ginebra. Last touch there against Olsen Rosella. If you notice, Olsen is playing a lot more minutes today than in the last game. I really felt that he wanted to play that game, and he wasn't used much until the end game when the game was lost already.
It was out of
so I'm sure they discussed that among the coaching staff.
2 minutes just about ready to go by, and we remind you that Gatorade is the official sports drink of the PBA. Is it in you? As Pacana circles the perimeter, finds some crack, and there's a tip in by Rivas.
Rivas and Eric Nank are neutralizing the big men of San Miguel.
just by tipping in, blocking,
you're being in the right position.
Yes. Well, Defonso was ready to launch. He just dropped it. However, he decides to go to Peña, who just makes sure.
Well, players like that, they don't get rattled by the crowd. They don't get rattled by the situation. They still are able to maintain their composure and find the right person to go to.
Peña with his first pair of points. That is overcooked by Mank.
And he knew it.
The minute he left his hands. And here's the top of the keyhole aiming at the target. Bishop at the last moment. There's a foul inside. Referee Aldaba pointing out that there was an arm contact. Billy Mamaril makes his first appearance here today. And you know, Fidel Mangonon has just told me that Helterbrand, who's back in the ball game, is just 1 out of 13 from three-point distance dating back to the last game.
Well, may injury ang partner. There's no question of that. You know, he cannot make his movement. You know, with a hamstring, it's really hard to make the right movements for your jump shot. You know?
That one just kisses the iron.
Good offensive rebounding there by Jay Washington, and a kickball called against Rafi Ribis. It will remain at 21 seconds. The only time it is reset is if it's below 14. It will be reset to 14. Referring to the shot clock.
This augurs well for San Miguel, the fact that Washington has been, as you pointed out, going to be aggressive here in the opening half.
Not only is he scoring, he's rebounding. Saka nakasona ang so he'll do a lot of rebounding on the weak side.
Jay Wash says, okay, play zone. I'll shoot. Misses the shot. There may have been a push off.
And a push off against Daniel Alfonso. Mas maganda ang position talaga ni Reyes doon. Salvacion coming in for Dave Noel, getting his first rest. Freeman is about to report to the scorer's table.
Kung man ganyan, Dr. J, let's say, for instance, if he never wins on Freeman, then he goes home right away. Ganun bang,
Well, probably stay a couple of days. Baka maraming sapatos pinagawa yan, mga suits. Mag-aantayan dyan. Kaya kung nanalo ka, may bonus ka pa, mag-aantay ka pa.
In the meantime, that shot by Rosella is missed, and they have a chance to recycle. Peña asking for the ball because he's got Mamaril sealed in, but he crashes to the floor.
Medyo off balance ang kanyang tira doon. No?
And a bit of the evidence that Helterbrand is hurting, he could not make a clear step for that ball.
Ginebra itself is making a lot of turnovers. We have a low-scoring ball game. We're here in the second quarter. And a 30-second timeout or a timeout being called here by John Chico. He wants to ask his players what's wrong with them.
You're watching Game 6 of the PBA Finals right here on CS9, and Ginebra is up by 1 point, 25-24. Well, Danny Ildefonso actually spent the night in the hospital keeping his 6-year-old daughter Sophia company as she underwent her last session of chemotherapy. Sophia actually had a tumor removed from her stomach and had to undergo 6 sessions of chemotherapy just to be safe. Now, his mother-in-law is in the hospital with Sophia, while his wife is here in Araneta watching the game, supporting Danny. Danny just wants his daughter to know that he loves her very much and that this game is for her. And it's
Daddy goes to the basket. Then joy of life, huh?
I think we all love our children, especially mga Filipinos. They have a very close tie with their children. And it's great to see a guy, that you can take that off your mind for a while and compete for your team. And Danny has always been a true professional. No matter ano nangyari sa kanya, yung nangyari sa kanila ng game 3 ba yun?
And just takes everything.
Nandito ako no, game 1 yata yun. Well, something like that.
In the meantime, game 2.
Game 2, napanood ko yun. So another foul given up here. Eric Menk picking up his first personal foul. 3 team fouls already on the Gin King, and San Miguel slate is still clean as a team on the fouls. Pagaya is now replacing Cyrus Baguio.
In the energy department, you just can't help but notice the fact that two different teams are here today for San Miguel. This is just a different ballgame that they're playing. The rest may have helped. Ildefonso goes, and that basket was rattled. Hildebrand zips it over to Noel. The quick pass to Rivas, who finds another move.
What you like about Noel, he doesn't force a lot of shots. He always wants to distribute and make his teammates so much better, and a pass at the right place at the right time.
Rivas with 6, and the mark of this game is he always looks to pass. Yeah. He likes to pass off to his team. He has faith and trust in his teammates that they can score as well.
That's why his teammates like him. Now that was a shot clock. The shot clock will stay at 11 seconds for San Miguel to complete this play.
Well, that clock coming down to 6:51.
Offensive foul on Washington. That'll be the third offensive foul called against San Miguel in this ball game. Washington letting out a roar. It's okay. He's showing his emotion. He's showing that he's ready to play. And of course, you know, you'll get a little egging from the Ginebra crowd, but you just take it away.
Mahirap naman i-battle up all the way yan. Mabuti kayo, labas mo na. 27-24, Barangay Ginebra. By 3. 6:40 to go. Here's Mink. Freeman picking him up. The left hook. Follow up. Rivas goes up again. Nothing. It's a 4-on-3. Gone! And the Ginebra coaching staff dancing the locomotion. But they may have been traveling, Dr. J.
Yeah, well, the action was very, very quick. They got away with it.
6 points by Freeman. Rivas shopping around. Hildebrand, top of the keyhole. Shot clock coming down to 3. He wants to make something happen. He turns, tosses it inside. That's blocked. And maybe a foul has just been called.
Now the shot clock violation was called against Ginebra before the foul was given up. I think that was a correct call. It was down to 0. He was still up and faking before the foul came through. Hildebrand really held on to the ball a lot
longer than he should have.
Yeah, it was down to 6 seconds and he was still trying to make his move from about 26 feet away from the basket.
Assistant coach Art de la Cruz is still complaining, I think, about that traveling violation.
Well, that was earlier on the part of Freeman when he took off. No? Actually, they've already gotten away with 2 traveling violations in this game that I've seen.
Here's Cortez. Ginebra still with the lead. 7 on the shot clock. Cortez launches. Can't knock it in. Rebound contested. Noah tries to hook it. Taken away by Hontiveros. Hildebrand. Launches. Can't drop it. Follow up. No.
A lot of pieces underneath the basket. The pressure is there.
Inside we go, and Meg with the foul. You know, you're right about the pressure being on, Dr. J. Every little edge that they can get both sides, they're trying to go for it.
2 free throws for Kid Freeman.
Eric Meg ending up with a foul there. Meg collecting his second. Ginebra still in the lead. Freeman has managed to stay away from foul trouble. So far, just 2 fouls. Well, he's still playing here in the second quarter.
Making that first free throw.
And we'd like to tell you about our KFC delivery assist of the quarter. Cortez to Freeman. What delivers a KFC? Just dial 887-8888. KFC, it's when you're looking good.
Well, just in case you want to know who the referees are, of course, we have Tonji Aldaba, who's been probably the most consistent referee this tournament. And obviously, well liked by the committee as well as the teams themselves. No? Then we have Sembrano and Iligen as the other referees for this very important ball game.
Inside we go to Mank.
Great play because they went to the high-low. They were going to Eric Mank earlier, because of the advantage of Eric Menk at the post against Gabe Freeman.
Menk, who now has 4 points, Ildefonso's version on the other side.
Ito naman si Danny, magaling mag-adjust yan. He can play you outside, he can play with his back turn. So there's a lot in his offensive game.
His game just continues to be complicated and getting more exciting with every passing game. 4 points as well for Ildefonso as we drop down to 4 and 16 here in second quarter action of game number 6. Bacana, wild heave at the basket. They have to develop a running shot more than anything else.
Well, Bacana is not going to give them a lot of offensive games here because ang nangyari is Bacana hasn't been used too much in this series. That's going to be an offensive foul called on Gabe Freeman. Eric had his ground all the way. And that's going to be the third personal foul.
Yes.
Don't ever mention that he has only 1 or 2 fouls. He can pick them up in bundles. You know?
Biglang kinokolekta, no?
Eric holds his ground there. His feet are on the, both feet are steady. It was an easy call for Tronji Aldaba.
My beef against Freeman is that he knows it's there, but it's easier said than done because he's on the dribble, actually.
And he's really an instinctive type of player. You know, once he makes his move, he's going to go there whatever happens. Now, Billy Mamaril comes in for Eric Menk. He did a good job in that sense. He picked up the third foul of the import of the other team.
Major contribution. No one thought about dunking, but angled away.
And a good block there by Washington.
Here's Cortez. Ontivero steps into the shot. That just dabs the iron and a foul downstairs. It's Mamaril. And let's go over now to Magoo, who has an update on Sunday Salvacion.
So one guy who is really upset on the bench of Ginebra is Sunday Salvacion. His right cheek is beginning to swell up. It is being iced down right there because of a elbow he got from Dorian Peña earlier. But from behind the bench, it was Junti Valenzuela who pacified him, telling him, okay lang yan, partner. Dahil kung magcha-champion ka, kailangan pasaktan ka muna. Let's take the short break.
And back with us here, 30. Look at that, those San Miguel fans, they're hopeful. Gatorade halfway point of this quarter. Eric Menk stabbing it at close range with that left hand of his, and that's our Gatorade halfway point of the quarter.
Ginebra is already in the penalty, and San Miguel does not have one team foul at all here in the second quarter.
Yes.
And Ginebra has to go back to a zone to try to preserve those giving up loose ball fouls. That's a nice shot. You could see it coming. You know, when Ontiveros really sets his feet, gets up with good balance, that's a three-point shot.
There's that certain hop, you know?
Yeah.
In the meantime, San Miguel reobtains possession. 33-29, Beerman racing in front.
They got a good run going for them. They got the momentum. The other team is in the penalty. So these are advantages for the San Miguel team right now.
And watching with all of you are 16,039 fans inside the football here today.
And that was a good penetration there done by Jonas Villanueva. So coming out of that timeout, San Miguel scores 5 straight points, takes a 6-point lead.
Wilson, looks like taking steps, but he's on the dribble now. Tries to dig in very deep. He's under the seat. Got it to go!
Probably something they never expected. That's the reason why he got off a good shot underneath and a high percentage shot at that.
At saka may nilago. 6 points. Ildefonso clear on that shot. 6 points as well. Both teams trading baskets, trading turnovers as well.
Ang ganda naman ng sundot to ni Villanueva. Baguio trying to go fast break all by his lonesome, and there were 3 defenders.
There's a different high-end of life when you make that pattern.
Siyempre.
Yung malinis. Ontiveros! Yes!
This is a guy that was really missing. And obviously, a timeout is needed here by the Ginebra San Miguel squad.
Don knocking in 9 points, and the hopeful San Miguel fans bringing out whatever signage they've got. 2 minutes exactly remaining in the quarter. I think it's a full timeout. No, it's a 30. It is a 30. So hang on, and if you're ready, 12 years old, boy, mark this name. He could be a future star. Batang star of the game presented to you by Star Margarine. Isang pagsaludo sa ating mga nagtatangkarang bida sa hardcourt. Iba na matangkad, iba na ang batang star. Iba na rin ang mga bata. Naglalakihan talaga as all of us join these 16,000 people on hand to join all of us. I'm sure they've taken their currency, the official vitamins of the PBA, proud sponsor of the final series of the 2009 Motor Life PBA Fiesta Conference.
It's always nice to have healthy children. Like these days, talagang magaganda siguro mga gamot at saka yung gatas. You know?
That will not work. What is not working for Ginebra aside from it not going into the hoop, Dr. George?
Well, wala silang makakuhang puntos doon sa mga gwardiya nila, kaya doon sila umiiyak eh. Si Tubig, actually hindi na nga binalik after those 2 misses earlier. And again, the penalty situation is working against Ginebra in this quarter. 5-0. Right now, it's 6 fouls already committed by them. You know, defensive or loose ball fouls against none for San Miguel. Ang fouls lang ng San Miguel in this quarter are offensive fouls, actually. But Freeman does have 3 fouls. So San Miguel really working well despite their import sitting down. So you can see the power of their local bench players.
First by Fingers is in the bucket.
Take a look at Gabe Freeman. He's just watching right now. Boss Danding, one of the great sportsmen in basketball, really helped the PBA for a long time. I would like to greet another sportsman that I know had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, MVP.
Nga pala, si Mr.
Manny Pangiliao, birthday niya kahapon. And he's also been contributing a lot to Philippine basketball.
Just badminton, to boxing, a little of everything. In the meantime, Wilson tries a stutter step outside to Baguio.
Maganda talaga defensa dito. And they can be aggressive because they don't have fouls. And that's going to be another offensive foul because of the aggressiveness of the defense, an offensive foul called against Willie Wilson.
And the fact that they have not been called for too many fouls in this period allows them the aggressiveness to play D.
Yeah, I don't know, if you don't have fouls and you're going down to the last 2 minutes or 1 minute and a half, you can really be aggressive and make it difficult for your opponents to get off any good shot.
You can gamble a few slides and taps, and what's this?
Oh, a foul called on Baguio. And because they're in the penalty, Pinisi will go to the free throw line.
Penalty. That was the second foul on Santos Baguio.
Baguio didn't like the back pick that Mick was setting. Mick always sets back picks to help his point guards or shooting guards. And Baguio should know that because he played with him for many years.
He used to provide the pick for him. Have you forgotten, former teammate? Well, in the meantime...
And Mick is a good free throw shooter, so you don't want to foul. That has really worked to the advantage of San Miguel in this quarter. Now Tubid has come back into the ball game. Now it's a big lead also for San Miguel. They're enjoying a 12-point lead. Momentum is on their side.
In the low-scoring ball game in this first half, now down to a minute and 11. 5 points by Mick.
And Mick had a pretty good offensive game no nakaraan. Ang problema, he didn't stay on the floor too long. He took himself out.
Even left behind a dagger look. So meantime, Meg will go a bit of righty there. And what gives an offensive, or is it a loose ball foul?
I think it's going to be on Mick Pinisi. He was fighting there among the other giants. And he acknowledges, wala lang kami sa penalty and that's only my first foul. And I don't like to go out of the game early like I did in Game 5.
It's lonely in the locker room.
You bet.
And the game is not even over.
You bet.
Too quiet. Sunday Salvacion goes for one of his familiar spots and drills again.
Ginebra really needed that bucket because they've been silent for quite a while right now. Cuts down the lead of San Miguel to 10. Maybe 2 or 3 possessions left for us here, depending on how fast San Miguel. So that's the reason why they call this 30-second timeout by short. They probably want to see what they can do here.
Ginebra, you're right, Dr. J, needs some inspiration at this point. If they really want those balloons to fall here today, they already have been aligned as we take a look at this bit of trivia.
Yeah, the last 4 conference finals were all decided by a Game 7. Now, this is a coincidence. It is not something that was designed. It just shows the toughness and the competitiveness. The last conference, Talk and Text won the All-Filipino against Alaska. It went to Game 7, even though it was a 3-2 advantage for Alaska. Ginebra takes a 3-2. San Miguel trying to extend this Game 7. Ginebra obviously is still there, Even if San Miguel takes a good lead, a double-digit advantage into the second half, it doesn't mean anything because there's still a full 24 minutes to play with.
Roddy McSonnock always tells me how hard it is to close out the series, and he knows that so well.
Yeah, well, he has been member of some championship teams also.
And teams that didn't make it all the way despite leading. And in the meantime, Hunter Veras beginning to wax hot. That does not drop in. Mench picking it up. Lanet took set. Looks at the clock, that is.
Well, they go for the last shot. Ang problema, San Miguel has a lot of fouls to give.
And that is, yep.
And they're going to use that.
And Chotang Kinsen is telling them to use it.
So really here, you must be able to make the right decision of going to the basket at the right time. So 9 seconds, that's only their second team foul. That's only their third team foul. So madami pa. Ngayon, pang-apat, so they still have a foul to give. And they will still use that.
Suddenly, Chotang Kinsen dragged Bonbon Custodio to zip off his jacket or that shooting shirt. Maybe to give up fouls also.
Give up fouls. At saka pwede rin sumundot yan. Alam mo naman magaling sumundot at mag-anticipate yan. Baka makaagaw pa yan. That's a foul. Now, that would be the last foul that they can give up. Now, will Ginebra send in Noel? Because you can send him in right now. Nasa penalty na rin yung kalaban.
And John Chico is exactly thinking of that.
Well, he was thinking, but he decided against it.
Yung fouls na kaya naalala ko si Mike Riordan ng New York Knicks, from the Knicks of the 70s.
Point guard yan.
And would be
left-handed.
Yep.
Pretty good.
And that was
too big driving.
Yep. To the wide open man. Ball bandied about, and that'll do it. So San Miguel dictating the tempo, and I think they followed the prescription of being aggressive from the opening tap.
Obviously, the good game of Washington helped them, and then he never getting not too many points from his shooting guards. That's something that they're going to discuss when they go into the locker room.
It should be a very interesting discussion point as we check out the Motor Light leading scoring parade. And if Cheska is ready with Jay Washington, go ahead, Cheska.
All right, Jay Wash, Gabe Freeman already has 3 fouls. How will this affect your team in the second half?
Well, we've been used to playing with Gabe having fouls all conference, so hopefully we can do what we usually do and just buckle down as the locals buckle down and play together.
All right, and then before the game, you said that you guys have to get back to where you were a month and a half ago when everyone was playing as a unit. Do you feel that you guys are playing as a unit in this game?
Exactly. I think we came out this first half, and that's exactly what we did. We played together, we shared the ball, we played defense. And I think when we play like that, I don't think any team can beat us in the league.
All right, thank you. All right, now this is Game 6 of the PBA Finals. Will Ginebra finish this, or will San Miguel force a Game 7? Find out when the PBA returns right here on CS9.